this computer. All right. Bonjour and welcome to another edition of Ndn Way with Johnny R, the podcast that records live from the southern shores of the mighty Red Lake. And I'm your host, Johnny R. Obviously, the only podcast, maybe the only podcast going in the niche right now. I'm not sure. I'll need to be somebody fact check me on that. I'm not too sure. There might be others. Many uh, often imitated, never duplicated. What then? So congratulations to my youth softball team, the Wolfpack. Won a couple games tonight. 9-0 and 16-7, I believe. So yeah, we just got back. Of course, after their victory, they wanted to go to the store to celebrate, and it's payday. So they're lucky it was payday. So, but yeah. Other than that, not much else going on today. I just went to work for a little bit, and then there's a council meeting today. I don't know if you heard about that. There was a special meeting. So, but I don't know if you got information from that. I was there hanging out. made it made it for breakfast. They had scrambled eggs, I think bacon, sausage, oatmeal, and all I had was oatmeal and sausage. So, and then they didn't have butter for my oatmeal because I like to eat my butter with oatmeal, and I'm not a big bacon grease guy. Not a big bacon grease on my oatmeal, even though my grandpa, I grew up eating that. It's not something that I continue to do. Apparently, it's not good for you. So, but yes, tribal council meeting. It was a special meeting. From what I gathered, it was a audit audit findings for the what is that called? Youth shelter. Yeah, there's a youth shelter because there's been a back and forth for months as to the former executive director getting terminated last July, June or July, and it's caused division within our tribal council and the community too. So it's been dragging on for almost a year now, and from my understanding, it was there were discrepancies that the accounting department noticed during I think they were closing out a grant and red flag. So they rose a red flag. Is that what you say? Rise, threw a red flag, and it was brought to the attention to the I don't know the steps, the proper channels, but they went through that, and it sounds like accounting did their own work to verify what they were seeing, and I'm not sure if that's what caused the termination, but I know that there is a process if there is discrepancies, and I know they go through the probably go through the audit process at accounting, and then come back find their what their findings, and then go from there. But apparently there was a termination around the same time. So again, it's unclear as to what caused the termination. There's been back and forth for going on a year now, and apparently there's audio of that exchange as to why there was a termination, and I have yet to hear that audio. There was no video of it, so I don't know. So that's been causing the back and forth with tribal council and what caused the audit, I suppose. So it's all like accounting department did what accounting do, departments do, and then yeah, it's just escalated from there, and there's been back and forth, and there's the one that was terminated with uh, due process, I suppose, and nobody's sharing what actually took place. And this brings me back to lack of transparency. And I know a lot of this would probably be dealt with immediately if you're being watched by uh, citizens of your tribe. There's a certain expectation for you to stay professional. And it's really important that we not stray from that. You know, Without rules, we have anarchy. And one way to do that is it's way past time. I know we need this is a prime example as to why our tribal council meetings need to be streamed, because we've all been in the dark about this, I suppose, termination. And from what that side says, was no due process in that termination. And I don't, I don't, I don't know what to say. I don't know how it goes. It's he says, she says, and let's get out a statement as to why one was terminated. Um, and as to the steps that led to that. Again, it's a personnel um, issue, which from my understanding, personnel issues are confidential. But the way this has blown up, it's only hurting us. We're the ones that are having to deal with this for going on a year now. And it's really frustrating because, oh, excuse me, because we only get one side. And, that's the narrative that's out there right now. And again, I don't know if this would be a legal confidential issue or not, but that the other side is sharing, their their understanding of it. And how are we to understand which who's right and who's wrong? And until then, since then, it's been causing a divide within our, not only our tribal council but within our community. And it's it's getting to a point now where we're not able to advance to new, other important aspects of the tribe. Because I know it's been brought up before that we need to address this, finish it. We have the federal government to worry about, and if this just keeps dragging on, we're not going to be able to prepare ourselves for that battle with the federal government. So, and today it sounded like there was a. It sounded like to me, it sounded like we were headed to a conclusion, and then it just got it got bonkers. It got a lot of expletives. A lot of f bombs were dropped in the tribal council chambers. Which again, I brought this up, I think, the last time I came on, where that should be a sacred hollowed chamber, the history, even though it just opened up 10 years ago, but still. And to for it to go off the rails like it did today, it's embarrassing. You know, I was embarrassed what happened today, and I was shocked, and it was just at a point at a point where is this real? Is this what where we're headed as a community, as a tribe? And all I could do is just say, "What the fuck? What the?" He said that a few times in the hollowed chambers of the tribal council, and yeah, bonkers. That's the only way I could. That's the first word that came to mind. Like, what the fuck? That's. It was just. I don't know. It was not the best. Not the best moment in our tribe's history, and somehow I ended up right in the middle of it, and it was just. I don't know. Bonkers. I'm gonna keep using that. Yeah, if Trump can swear, so yeah, okay. Fuck. What the fuck? All right. What led me to say, well, the audit explained it proved there was well, it can be it was described as administrative errors, which was they did admit to administrative mistakes, and to it got to a point where somebody asked the auditing team, were those practices, are they the way they were executed, is that a common, do you see that very often in not only tribal government but other grantees? And the auditor said, no, that's not how it's supposed to be done. And it was mentioned that it was a new program. It's there was a rush to you know get that grant money spent, and they admitted the way they did it was, you know I don't want to say they said it was sloppy, but it was in a hurry. People kept explaining, when stuff like that happens, you need to, but again, the auditing firm said that was not the way to go about it, and it's something they had never seen before. And that's also what the common theme was today. It was, there's no there's no playbook for something like this because it's never happened. I know Chairman Siki said that, and Treasurer Lusher said, there's no playbook to go about how to address this, other than have the numbers. And again, the numbers don't lie, and they were at a point where they said, again, administrative errors did take place, and the money that this is what I think this is what got me involved, because I stood up. I was dumping my food tray there, and it's like, man, you know what? I gotta say this. So, they were in the they were ready to extend the audit in order to for the other side to produce documents that may show where their administrative errors were. And then they're going to extend the, opportunity to look for those. And from my understanding, everything was right there. Everything, the auditing department did to or accounting department provided everything that was from my understanding was needed for the auditing team to do it, and then the auditing team to bring back their findings. And right there, that should be okay. This is what we found. These were the mistakes. There, a lot of them. Red Lake Nation, you do what you think is right because it's your grant, it's your money, and you do what you do. So I believe the tribe was ready to make that motion to maybe put an end to it, and but then they were asking for more time to provide documents. 30 days was mentioned, and then chairman said no, 14 days. We need to get this closed. We need to finish it. Bring whatever you have or whatever you can find, because the audit was it was presented as a draft because they were still waiting for those documents. And from what the accounting auditing team said was they've been reaching out for months to get those documents, and to they were not provided since February. So they gave them, that was the the thing was like, well, they're not there. Let's present this, and Red Lake Nation, you do what you do, baby. And they were, but then they asked that somebody brought up you got to give her a chance to produce this. This is we had no idea the meeting was taking place, and it was just I knew where it was going once they asked that, and I just said, this thing, it sounds like everything is here. Everything's been presented. I'm not familiar with grants. I don't work with the program's money or anything, or in any. I haven't done that in about over, what, 2020 maybe 21, 4 or 5 years. I used to work with the school, and I worked with a grant, but it's been a while. So I mistakenly said, I don't know if I said the stolen money or the missing money, and that just no, no, no. And again, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. I don't get into grants anymore, and that set one side off. And they corrected me the term. Then I told them, this is what the people are going to hear. This is how they see it, because there's no transparency, because we don't know who did what. And for it to continue that way, well, I didn't say that part, but that's what I'm thinking right now. And then I told the council, you know what? This is your job. You work for us. We need this addressed. If you have, whatever, we need to close this. We need to wrap this up. And again, I brought up that, well, I think it was Chief King that brought it up too, that we have a bigger fight with the federal government, and we need to be, all hands on deck. We need to clear up all this shit, and it's your job to do that. And I said, that I said my piece, and then I sat down there, and then I was sitting there on my phone. I was taking messages from my wife, and then Chemical Health Director Tom Barrett Sr. While I was on my phone, and I heard, if you're worried about money so much, why don't you look at your budget you overspent at that radio station? And I was still on my phone. I didn't think he was talking to me, and I got up, and he was standing in front of me, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what the fuck? And then I stood up, and then somebody told Executive Director Tom Barrett Sr., no, not in here. No, we need to get out. I was like, Literally, what the fuck? That's what I kept saying. It's like, is this the new norm to to have a discussion, to share my thoughts, and then have a executive director of a program bring up my place of work, which I have no control over the budget. I don't know. All I do is get paid and spread good medicine on WRLN, which that should be third party billing. All the good medicine. They should give me some anyway. But yeah, again, all I could just say, what the fuck? And then he went outside, and I was trying to follow and just get in at like, what the fuck? And kept talking to the chiefs were stopping me, talking to me, and then representatives and more chiefs and chairman even was talking to me. I was like, what the somebody said, I got some boxing gloves in my car. I was like, what again? What the fuck? So that's how that went. It's like, man, is this the new norm? Is this where we're headed? The lack of transparency has pushed the boundaries of decency, you know, respect in the chambers of the Red Lake Nation Tribal Council. That's where we're headed. So again, I don't know my budget. I don't know if you're familiar with WRLN, but we are under Oshki Maji Tada. But there was a resolution passed in September, I believe, where Chemical Health will take on the financial responsibilities of WRLN until whenever. So again, I don't know the budget. I don't know what I spent. All I know is I get paid, and our budget is very small. So I don't know what he's talking about. So that's what went down. I was confronted. I don't know if it was just because I was speaking up, or if I misspoke. Because again, I'm not familiar with the financial terms. Because from my understanding, there was. Let me see. I wrote it. I wrote this shit down. There was a discrepancy between POs and receipts, and some POs were not reconciled. And I don't know. I don't know if I should have used the word discrepancy. So I'm not going to throw any numbers out there because I don't really. Again, I don't know that part. But I know that they were upset that the word fraud kept coming up, and I think legal, explained that fraud is a legal term. Once if this goes into the judicial system, that's when that would be brought up. But right now, it was just there's a way the auditing team, or I don't know if it's accounting or auditing team, put all their numbers together, and it was just like a gauge to see if fraud may have been, something like that. But it wasn't called fraud. That was cleared up in that office. I mean, in that meeting. And it was Representative Barrett. He joined the meeting at 11:30 a.m. via Zoom. Asked to be brought up to speed. I mentioned he didn't know there was a meeting. I believe the meeting started at 9:30, 9:29. I believe the chairman called the meeting to order. And from the understanding, all tribal council members knew of the meeting, and Representative Barrett was on I think he was performing, on his way to perform somewhere. So that's why he wasn't at the meeting. And also Representative Smith wasn't there. He was on Zoom. And then Representative Martin from Panema, she was also on Zoom. So everybody but Representative Barrett was there up until 11:30. And the main thing about this was the concern that is this going to affect the the Red Lake Nation from being awarded grants in the future. And I think that's that was a really interesting question. And I'm not sure if I don't think I heard an answer on that, because I know the auditing team, they know nothing about that. They just do their part, grab the numbers, find them, and show their findings. That's all they did. All they could do was like advise, but there were things about the questions that they would have to do more research on to advise. So, um, what else? There's some heated discussions, and yeah, it was yeah, that's this is how we're I don't know. When I got done, I I was quite a few people came up to me and thanked me for speaking up. And that was just because it's the way it's the way I saw it. It's the way I heard it. And I just needed to you know, share what I thought, what they should do. Because to me it sounded like everything was right there presented. And they gave them another 14 days to come up with access to I forgot how that went, but see this right here, what I'm talking about. Why is it me talking about this? I mean, I'm probably, misstating little things about what we're talking about. And it's going to continue like this. I know it is. It's we need transparency, accountability, and we're not getting it. And as to why, I don't know. I mean, we need to do something where everything is out in the wide open. I mean, to avoid these situations, holding ourselves back. And it's really frustrating. I've been talking about the same shit since 2019, and we're getting nowhere, tripping over ourselves, and it's just frustrating. It's 2025. We're in the 21st century, and technology is not our friend. I guess I don't know what the deal is, but something has to change. I mean, after today, the way this has been building up for almost a year now, and it could have been done August, September, October last year, and it just seems to be dragging on. And then once these 2 weeks are done, I feel they're gonna ask for more time, and everything seems like it's already there. Because I know I think the email was a thing where there might be some documentation in the emails, but it sounds like IT went through everything, and I don't know if I'm saying too much, but fuck, something has to be done. It's getting embarrassing how far behind we are in technology. And if all this shit was addressed, if our meetings were shared, we wouldn't be stepping out over our own feet right now. And that's just I'm not singling anybody out. It's all of them. All 11 need to get together and figure this shit out. That's what you're elected to do. Like the chairman said, you work for us. It something needs to be done yesterday. Well, 2019 when I brought this shit up. And if it's not, we're not going to get anywhere. We're just doing this to ourselves. And for what? Why? What? For more confrontations at tribal council meetings, or for people speaking their minds and saying shit that had to be said? You know, this bully culture is not gonna stand. You know, bullshit to think you can treat people like that for speaking their mind. What is this, North Korea? Fuck. Again, if they're saying that, well, I said, what are you gonna do? Fire me? Fuck. Probably could, but had to be said. Fuck. I'm just so sick of the way things are. I think I was gonna run for chairman again to light a fire on everybody's ass. Just shit has to be done. And why is it me? I mean, like, why am I sharing all this stuff? Why can't other people share shit like this? It's frustrating. It really is. So, oh, I got comments. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't see the comments there. Let's see what we got. Holy. All right. Comments. Miigwich for sharing. Trump can, yeah, saw that. Please, you're dancing around it. Please, straight up with the information. Now what? When will they decide and move forward? 2 weeks, I guess. Again, that is oh, there we go. So will Red Lake lose those grant fundings? I don't know. I don't know if they'll lose the grant funding. Who are we talking about? Jerry Loud? Shit, he's next. He should be next. Yes, it is what it is. To extend it will only cost more. Why more time? Grant sucks. Grant verbiage controls how anyone spends money. David Goliath, speak up on important matters. You ask questions, the guilty don't like it. Plain and simple. Listen to 49 every Wednesday and Thursday. All right. Run for chairman. Just make sure you're staying in the right house. Yeah. It's quite the just battle for transparency. That's all it is, man. And something that we should have had for years. Yeah. But what are you gonna do? We'll just let things continue to boil over, and people are probably afraid to speak up because they'll be confronted for speaking. That's yeah. I did not expect that at all. I've never for my opinions I've been sharing over the years, I've never been confronted on speaking up. That's the very first time. And probably not the last time. And it's just really surprising. I thought we were ready to move forward with the success of the niche. And if it continues, I just encourage everyone to, form your own opinions, gather information, learn the ins and outs about what you feel is hurting us. Stand up and speak. Because if we're not going to stand up and if we're going to be afraid of speaking our minds, it's just going to continue. It really is. I know. I remember I saw this quote: "Stand up and speak up for yourself, even if your voice shakes." Because it gets frustrating having to, you know, speak up for something you think is, you know, right. How can other people not think it's right? You know, but tribal workers have to follow the social media policy, and I believe tribal workers can't bash tribal programs and council. So we have to shut the f up. Well, that's what just what I meant. Where you get a better understanding of what you think the issues are, and not slander. Um, Speak your truth, but make sure you understand what you're trying to, oh, excuse me, get across, the point you're trying to get across. Because I know people just go off and talk shit and no sense behind it. And I think that's what the social media policy is about. Because if you think you're being treated unfairly, there's a process. And again, if you know we're afraid of retaliation, it's not gonna. That's the sad part, that people maybe it's not bashing anyone if it's speaking on an issue. Yeah, it's get an understanding of what you're trying to, the point you're trying to get across. That's what it is. So I think that's why I haven't been in trouble, because I haven't talked out, say some shit, but maybe it's coming. Maybe it's an audit. Maybe the audit team is gonna bring my record of nonsense. But yeah, I know nothing about my work budget. I don't know where that came from. I don't work with the money. I just spread good medicine on the airwaves. What is the social media policy? I was harassed for 3 weeks by two adults and nothing happened to them. But I also heard their family is HR. What a joke ass place. Wow. So, that's the thing. I was talking about like code of ethics. And I think that's what we sign when we work for the tribe. And I'll ask for additional time when they bring my social media issues to HR. But that's an interesting. I brought this up when I tried to run for Little Rock District Representative, and they disqualified me because I shack up with my lady friend in her parents' house that she took over. And because my kids moved back home, my adult kids, so there's no room. Anyway, I brought up, there's I brought up, I think it was Roger Jourdain, when he had there was a issue with the hereditary chiefs and the tribal council. And his understanding, well, my understanding from that was he felt that one family had too much influence. And is it the hereditary chief? I'll have to reread my Warrior Nation book. But then I brought that up too about, families having control, um, director positions, school board, uh, uh, in HR, and is there a way to address that to make things more um, conflict of interest? Conflict of interest may be an issue with a family that has so many directors and school board members and HR. So where do we go to address that? Like this one here is saying they even made posts about me. Works for Boys and Girls Club, and all of her posts were liked and laughed and post. Um, yeah, how is there a way? Because we don't have an ethics committee. I brought this up about I think it was Boys Lake or Boys Fort Tribe when their tribal council had an ethics committee request or whatever, and that they wanted to investigate one of their tribal council members due to ethics violations. And I asked about that. Does the Red Lake Nation have an ethics committee, oversight committee to address concerns over, like maybe a tribal council member like Boys Fort did? And I was told we don't we don't have a ethics committee. We don't have any ethics nowhere to submit ethics violations maybe, or you know like if that went to, I think the what is it called, the ladder, no, what is that called, what am I trying to say, the ladder, or what is that? See, I'm an idiot. I don't know the right terms. um where you go to your supervisor, and then that supervisor goes to their supervisor, and that supervisor, chain of command. There it is, chain of command. And where is it that if like if she had a concern and it was taken to the HR, is it director, and the HR director was a relative of the whoever it was, chain of command, yeah. And what do we do if someone is related all the way up, like up that chain of command? Is there a way to get um if you lack ethics, you have no business being on council? I cannot disagree with that. And my dogs are going off for the alarm. Um yeah, it's that that audit exposed a lot of what we have yet to work on. Like there's a lot of things that are not put in place for something like this. And it's going to keep doing that because, this has never happened before. And they need to set a precedent. So it's need to set an example. This will not be tolerated. That was one of the points I brought up too. There was a loophole in how spending was done within the laser fiche or whatever that is. And it's closed now, but what's to stop somebody else from finding another loophole and, you know, uh, what is the word? Mismanage funds, causing discrepancies in the grant reporting. And they'll say, well, look what happened before. We just, gave them opportunity and, just don't do that again. And it can't get to that point. And if it does get to that point, it's bullshit. Somebody has to do something. Somebody has to stand up and we really need to get on that right now. And after this 2 weeks is done, demand your tribal council take action. Whatever the recommendations are, everything's presented. This can't continue to happen. And if we do, only a few people are going to benefit from, it's just really unfair. Not only makes the tribe look bad, the amount that was mentioned today, it said it wasn't a lot. That kept being brought up. That's not a lot of money. That's not very much money. To me, that was a lot of money. I could do a lot with money like that. It's to me, it's a significant amount, but money needs to be respected. And the process of working with our money, that needs to be respected. And if that's not, and if administrative errors, we need to cut those out and let them know we're not allowing that anymore. So technically, the person in HR should have to recuse themselves from that case. Maybe the executive director should appoint someone to take that issue up. I like that. Recuse yourself. Conflict of interest, which happens a lot because, we're all related to each other some way or somehow. So who said it wasn't a lot of money? Anything over $100 is a lot of money to me. But yeah, that bugged me that people were saying that wasn't a lot of money, when in fact it is a lot of money. And so once this 2 weeks is up, let's go ahead with the recommendations. And whatever happens, if somebody wants to do that again, they're gonna learn. They're gonna fuck around and find out. That's what we need. Let's put that. Let's put that in the tribal code. Fuck around, find out. So it's really it should be a no-brainer, you know. Oh, I might miss some comments here. Where's the receipts? Yeah, that's the thing that was issue. Yeah, it's shit needs to change. Yeah, we need to fuck around, find out department. We will just not stand for these transgressions, right? Who's with me? Demand your tribal council to it's not the way things are supposed to be. And yeah, to cause confrontations over, it's where we're headed. So the people were exposed today for what they are. And I don't know. I don't know. It's really, really disappointing. It's embarrassing. And it just, is it where we are? No, that's not where we are. We're better than that. We're way better than that. So, yeah. It's been a hell of a day. At least my kids won their softball games tonight. 4-0 on the young season. So, yeah. Yeah, all I can say is, what the fuck? In the hallowed halls of the Red Lake Tribal Council. I'm sorry for saying that, but I was in shock. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. It's up to us to demand. Yeah, I got to pay the fucking swear jar at the council now. So, payroll deduction. Payroll deduction. So, other than that, I think that's all I have. Will I be called to the principal's office tomorrow? I don't give a fuck. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It really is. So, again, why am I the only one speaking on this? We all need to speak up. So let's do that. So other than that, that's all I got. Me gwitch for listening, me gwitch for watching.